Good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday morning. It's good to be back. Just want to say thank you to all the well wishes and everything. Also want to say happy birthday to all those beautiful babies born today from 0 to 177. And if you're 178, I want you on this pod. So anyways, that being said, the FBI warning, Will Robinson. Warning. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, and exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, and video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called the Fair Use Act and is allowed for the purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe upon copyright under 17 USC subsection 107. All right, let's get that off of there, and I'll read the next story to you all, if I can find it. I don't know. Let's just throw the deck out there and play 52 see what picture this is. All right. Let's see. Come on, StreamYard. You can do it. You can do it, StreamYard. Come on, StreamYard. They need to rename this. All right, this series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine. Okay, I ought to have some scary music when I play that, just at the end, you know. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let's take that off of there. All right. Yes, I'm feeling rough today, folks, so just bear with me. I've got my fighting gloves on. So, just in case, the way things have been going, for the entire family, I'm going to have to be wearing these fighting gloves and my all the time because I got a funny feeling we are definitely under attack. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for all the well wishes and stuff. The prayers means a lot to everybody, especially to Tracy. She's taking it pretty rough, but she's pushing through like a real warrior. She really is. Um, they are basically um, harvesting what organs they can off of Calvin, and saving the lives of 7 other people. So if I can find something in the whole senseless death of someone my son's age, um, I think it's that gives me some solace at least. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring Dennis hello, and we're just going to get into it. I wanted to talk a little bit about the man and some other weird, um, so just to kind of get me off of the subject. So, anyways, I'm going to bring Dennis on. Hello to everybody, and put some hellos up on the screen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, brother. How are you?
All right, how's everything going?
Oh,
Sound rough.
it's a day. It's yeah. Well, I had some amongst the other things going on. I had a lot of my own medical problem going on, and a lot of people. I don't tell a lot of people what goes on with me physically. Even on my GoFundMe site. Um, Karen can attest to that, and Stephen can. I really I stick to the basics, because I don't want people to have to worry or have to think there's something that needs to be done that isn't being done, because everybody's doing everything they can for me. Um, Unfortunately, it's just a matter of time, and you know they say time heals all things, and we'll see what happens, and either I'm going to be here or I'm not going to be here. So it's like, it's just a waiting game, and I'm fine with that. I really am. I've come to terms with that. In fact, in my prayers, um, for Alvin, I even offered myself to the Creator, for him to take me instead of Calvin, because Calvin's so young,
Yeah.
But
Well,
that wasn't in the plans.
William, the good book says there's a time for everything. Time to live, a time to die, time to laugh, a time to cry. And everything has a season to it. We question things alike. And as a minister, I've run into that a lot. I've had a lot of people come to me, why, but we don't have all the answers, and we won't have all the answers. Not here in this plane, not in this existence, but one day we'll have all those answers. We question our Creator sometimes, but He has a plan. We have to have the faith in that.
Yeah. No, sometimes your faith gets so tested that and we have talked about, and this is the other thing that bothered me. We had talked about some very sensitive subjects, about some very powerful people.
Uh-huh.
And I often wonder, just how many accidental deaths out there are actually not accident.
Many of them.
Made me think. So, but it just made me think a little bit, and I want to say a special good morning to Irene Takura from Japan. Very, very good to see
Good
Irene
morning.
on here. Thank you. Um, and it was just, a very, very trying week. With me, it was my whole left side of my body shut down um, for the better part of 2.5 days. I couldn't. I had to drag my left leg around when I walked um, with assistance um, because that's what have this mass on your brain stem, and it's closing off the blood flow and the nerves going through the vessels, the blood vessels. I'm sure from being in the medical field, it's slowly pinching together, and when it does that, you're full abilities that are going to be lessened over time, and that basically happened with me the last several days. I pushed through it. I just, I had to. I had, with the whole other incident with the family, had to push through it. I had to psych my mind up in order to make my body do things. But power of the mind is a. Um, but anyways, I just wanted to basically thank everybody for their well wishes and stuff, and all the prayers um, for me and for the other um, situation going on with the family. Um, they're still going to need to be kept in everybody's prayers. So
I often feel that way too, William. Like I'm flying on a wing in a prayer, and that's about it. Sometimes it feels that way, definitely. But what you're talking about is very much like a stroke in some respects. Although it didn't linger as long as a stroke would, but I've seen what strokes can do. Because I worked at the hospital for about 30 years, and I've seen all of these things like that, and what the outcome of a lot of the stuff is. My own father had a stroke when he was a young man, and I had to drag him to the table and tie him to the chair and feed him. He couldn't do anything. And finally, he got past it. I mean, he worked with it. He worked and he worked. He was determined, and he overcame that and was able to drive again and everything. So, but we don't know what we face, the things we have to face. But like you said, we got to try to push through it as best we can. That's all we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and just not to stay on the subject, it was just, it's just something that I've known that's happened because, slowly over time, I have had things happen that I don't discuss with you all. Like I lose my vision for about 30 minutes at a time, where it's just completely black, like I'm blind. No light leakage or anything. Or unfortunately, my kidneys will evacuate. So I mean, it's just stuff like that occasionally pops up that is just part of the whole connection to the mass. you know um and it
Nerves,
is what it
the
is.
nerve
So
thing, it's
yeah.
nerve stuff. Yeah. When your nerves get
So
compressed and all that, I have a lot of back problems myself. And I know how, the sciatic nerves and all that. Oh, when you talk about nerves, you're talking about some heavy duty stuff.
yeah. Well, at first, Tracy and I thought that maybe it was like a pinched nerve or something causing my left leg to go numb. But when it started affecting my whole body, on the left side, it was more than that. And it's very possible, it can make your physical your body feel like it's going through a stroke.
Mhm.
But for the most part, it's not the pain of a stroke. It's just the numbness and the dead part of the body, basically. And you know, and you can call it dead too, because I mean, when it goes numb like that, there's no nerve system going through to it, no nervous system feeling. I could have stabbed my leg with a knife yesterday morning and not felt it at all.
Right.
And I mean, not just a little bit. I mean, I could have put a knife through my thigh, and I wouldn't have felt it.
Yeah, that's nerve. That's your nerve deafness, as they
Yeah,
call it. That's the nerve.
yeah,
It's yeah. It's bad. It's bad. You know, your nerve. Whenever pay that when we're young, whenever pay that much attention to the nervous system.
yeah,
But it's something very, very important. You know, you can't really live without it, really. You know, and I could see what the pain and everything that you go through on something like that. It's horrendous.
yeah. But anyways, I wanted to get into the a lot of the odd stuff today. I was watching a podcast. I woke up at well, I slept for about 3 hours. That's probably the longest I've slept in a while, straight through. Um, but I woke up at about 4 o'clock this morning, and I put on a podcast that I was watching, and I'm not even sure what the name of it was. Um, but I sent it. I think I sent it to you, Dennis, on Messenger about
Oh, about
the young man
yeah.
with the angel theory, and all that.
Mhm.
I kind of wanted to go over that today too, and, along with the Glimmer Man, because I see a correlation there. I see a correlation for what that young man was saying. See, the young man, he was a Christian, and he was talking about how he has seen angels, and you know how he basically sees them dropping, like, I guess, souls of the departed off into the sun, or something. I think it was souls. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what I gathered from it. And how they travel. They bring these souls through and travel the souls through Merkaba stone. Well, not a stone, but you know that shape of the two pyramids upside down on each other.
Right.
Which ironically is that pyramid symbol is all over creation.
Oh
So
yeah.
that would make sense.
What you're
Um,
talking about there, William, is the Star of David. The
right.
two pyramids that interlock. Yeah. And I've always found it interesting. The Star of David, which is the symbol of the Hebrews, the Jewish people. Actually, they came from the land of the pyramids. And I often wondered if the pyramids were not an inspiration for that star. Because it's pretty obvious. Look at the pyramids all over our money and our seals in this country. The pyramid stands for something that's timeless, almost like eternal, because they've been here so long. Let
Yeah.
me make a quick correction here about something I said the other night on our last podcast. I got something a little wrong in my statistics. I said that there were 40 million gun owners in this country. I was wrong. It's 73 million registered gun owners. Okay. I'm sorry about that. My
And that
statistic is a
does,
little bit off by a few million there.
yeah, that doesn't include. You're on the TV right now. Okay. That doesn't include um the ones that aren't registered.
Yeah, the unregistered. There's a lot of those. But anyway, getting back to angels, I think, angels have always been a fascinating. I love to deal with angels and demons anytime, okay? And angels are fascinating creatures. And really, when, we got to get past Da Vinci and the medieval image of the angel, with the wings and the feminine looking, asexual, meaning they're not man or woman. Uh, we got to get kind of past that, because angels,
Yep.
as described in the Bible and even in some Babylonian texts and everything, are completely different beings than human beings. They can look like us. Okay, they can look like us when they want to, but you're
Yeah.
dealing with a completely, almost alien looking thing here, and I'm not talking about bug-eyed aliens. I'm talking about something that's far removed from humankind in that respect.
Right.
That's a
Right.
fascinating thing. Fascinates me, the image, the real, true image of the angel.
Right. Well, what fascinated me about that whole video on that podcast, he did his research. He did quote, the Bible in several areas, and it made sense what the young man was talking about. Um,
Yeah.
how many times on a nice, bright, sunny day do we see chemtrails try to cover up the sun? How many
Uh-huh.
times on a nice shiny day do we see clouds coming out of nowhere and blocking the sun from view? Um, when there's
And
no rain
William,
predicted.
it is very well recognized that forces of evil and darkness cannot stand the light of the sun. God's true sun that
Right.
shines on this world.
Which
They can't take that, like we talked about with
right.
trolls turning into rocks when the sun hits them and all that. The sun has a purifying, life-giving essence to it. And I think that's what you're
Right.
dealing with there.
Right. And the other thing too, with the whole point of what's coming in out of nowhere is the heart facility, that our government has. Our government has and operates 18 of those all across the world. 18. From Australia to the United States to the UK, to Ukraine probably, to I believe Japan, the Philippines. Where else? I can't remember where else. I'm sure they got one in Africa somewhere. Probably South
Alaska,
Africa. Um,
yeah.
yeah, Alaska. Yep. You, there's several. Um, but my point is
I
because they
told you
use the
about
HARP facility to control the weather.
uh,
So to
my
control the
my
weather.
friend,
So
my friend, my friend Ken Gerhardt at his show, Michigan, Alaska. They approached the heart facility there, and he got very ill. He got sick, and his equilibrium was like knocked off by this thing. It's putting out some very heavy, massive EMF type waves. It is definitely, William, geared for some type of weather manipulation, but I think there's other nefarious purposes at work there too.
all right. Well, the other thing that I found fascinating about this young man's podcast the other day, or this morning, I mean, um, was Gerald, is the fact that the way the sun with the sun with the ring around it, and how when it has the ring around it, those like the auras or the chakras, the color, the certain colors, and each color is correlated with a level of. And it was just really fascinating how he tied it all together, and he had video evidence of those Merkabas bringing things, like souls to the sun and releasing them and leaving. So
Well, in the Bible, William, there is one interesting incident that reminded me when you said that, of an angel. I think it was sent to Jacob, and the angel had to fight through different levels. That's what it said, different levels to get to Jacob, because there were, the bad angels were trying to keep him from getting there. So you're dealing with different levels of spiritual planes here. And that's what that guy was talking about, I think, to a certain extent. Almost
so
what we would call dimensions, really. You would really type them
right,
as some type of dimension.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. and that's the other point that I was. It clearly does make sense to dimension, and it clearly makes sense to me that that there is some kind of connection between the spirit and the sun, because in the Egyptian hieroglyphs and stuff and culture, this is very prominent. You don't hear too much talk about the moon, but the sun is very prominent. So, and it goes, and correlated to the Son of Christ, for that matter, or the Son of God.
Yeah.
To a point, maybe the Son is the Son of God. Maybe it is the way that we go to God, because it says in the we can't go to God except through Jesus Christ. So it would mean is the actual Son. Maybe we go through the Son to get to the Father.
And all through history, William, all through history, look at the many different cultures that worship the sun. And I've often said, if you've ever been in a cold, dark forest in wintertime, freezing your hindquarters off, when that sun comes up and starts warming you and the land around you, you could understand why these people. Yes, that's it. My letter opener. I'm gonna open some letters later. You understand why people worship the sun. It's life-giving. It can sustain you, in so many different ways. I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah. See, even up how it's weird how this it's covered, and one day it was completely covered. It is amazing how many, they depict a sunny day, and it's actually a partly cloudy day. They didn't pick the clouds, and it just made sense to me that the Bible would say you have to get the sun to get Father, to get the God, and that whole correlation with Jesus being the Son, and the Father. It just made sense to me listening to that podcast. I will send that to everybody later on today if I can find it again, and I'll probably go to Dennis's messenger and send it out of that, because it is a very interesting podcast. Young man, he really researched, and that's what impressed me. Was the fact that he did his research, that he didn't just, wing it and say, oh, the earth's flat because if it was round, the water would run, I mean, that kind of a thing, This young man did his research. So that really impressed me. So, but I'll send it to everybody that would like me to send it to them.
Definitely. Let me say this, and I've seen several instances. I've seen one the other day, a film that somebody was taking of a life flight. They were taking somebody up in the helicopter to take them somewhere, and that person died. Immediately died as soon as that helicopter lifted. You can see a bright streak of white light leave out of the top of that helicopter and go straight up. At that very same moment that this man died. I've seen that happen in hospital rooms. I've seen that happen, and it's interesting to note, William, that every time a soul leaves the body, where does it go? It goes up.
Right.
Of course, I don't know. Some may go down. I've never seen that, but they mostly go up.
Right.
So and it's always been said that the spiritual realm of God and angels and all of this stuff is where? Above. So it's as above, so below, which means definitely, as that prayer says, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, as above, so below."
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree with Karen here. It helps.
That's very true, Karen. Yeah. It's a cleansing thing, just like salt that we use in cleansing things, or sage and different things like that. The sun itself is the cleansing thing. You've always remember the old vampire movies. The sun will destroy the vampire. And at the end. But this is very true. It's a very cleansing thing. And I've often said this: there are things that walk this earth that cannot walk in the light of God's sun.
And that's
The way
the
that
other
goes.
thing too, Dennis. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up, is the fact that you can correlate every tragedy against humanity with the sun being blocked out, being blotted out by something. Okay, you can correlate the ancient cultures of the Aztec and the Mayan and the Egyptians, that when the sun was blotted out during an eclipse, it was a more than likely
Horrendous
90%
thing
of the
to them.
time a bad omen. Um,
And here's
so
another thing,
I
William.
mean,
Listen, and let's pay attention to how. Let's just pay attention for a minute to how our emotions are attached to the sun. On a dark, cloudy day, you're kind of depressed. You don't feel that well. On a bright, sunny day, you feel better. Think about that a minute. There's something going on with a spiritual, emotional connection there. You know?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Stephen, I'm sorry, I forgot that. He mentioned the fact that those different types
Mm-hmm.
of orbs had different, like the levels of the angels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that would mean that the colored angel would be the imitation of basically like a cherub, I believe.
And look at
Which
William.
are
Let's look at the rainbow. Okay, look at the different levels of color, the prism-like auspices of the rainbow, which is considered to be the bow of God before anybody else appropriated that. The rainbow belongs to God. It was His bow. He set it in the clouds, and yet it has different levels of light spectrum to it. You know, we got to think about that. And of course, in heaven is described as what covers the throne of God. A huge rainbow covers it. So it's very interesting to know that the different colors and levels are there.
yeah, yeah. That's just the other thing. Just doom and gloom that goes on against humanity in the world. It just makes sense to me that you could court with the sun being blocked out. I mean, think about tornadoes. Think about earthquakes. The earthquake. I hope he does miracles in Turkey. He already has, because several thousands of people were saved. But that whole situation there, with that weird cloud that came over the area of Turkey and Syria that was devastated by the earthquake several weeks ago, was blocked by the sun. It blocked out the sun, and it was a weird color too of a cloud. Think about the floods and stuff. You can't have floods without rain, and without rain, you can't have clouds. So I mean, it all correlates.
And who is the prince of the power of the air, William?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good morning, Stephen.
The insurance companies call tornadoes and storms acts of God. I don't consider them to be acts of God. They're, I think, initiated by darker forces. God does not go around destroying things randomly for no reason. They're not truly.
There's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scary thought.
They are trying. There are experiments, Karen. There are experiments, Karen, where they're trying to actually do that. My mother used to say they would sell you sunlight if they could bottle it up. They would sell it. They would love to control sunlight. You could control vast amounts of humanity that way. Oh yeah.
Well, if you think about my one podcast about a month and a half ago, you'll have to go back and look through. I might even play it later or replay it. I did mention about the opera that our government did in conjunction with, I believe it was, the United Kingdom and Canada and Australia. That they did that thing where they shot that laser into the sun and it trying to open up a portal. And because it was said by astronomers years ago that the sun was a portal, which ties into the whole thing that the young man was talking about. Maybe the sun is a portal. Maybe the sun is radiating.
And when the sun goes nova, or goes out, it becomes a black hole, which is a portal. Okay, it naturally becomes an anti-gravity kind of a portal, but still it's a portal. And there you go.
Yeah, that operation was called military operation was called Operation Light Speed. Yeah, Operation Light Speed is what it was called. You can look it up. But it's where they shot this laser into the sun and tried to make it open up into a portal, because I think that they figured a biblical connection to the sun. I really do.
It came out the other day, William. The Google quantum computer has opened up a portal. So portals can be opened in a lot of different areas. There you go.
Well, there I go. I'm going to disappear now.
One day you're going to hit the Google button and that might be it, buddy.
Yeah, Google doesn't like me. I don't know why Google doesn't like me. I'm a likable guy, just don't, be a bunch of garbage that you think I'm going to believe. That's just the gist of it. I'm like everyone else, we don't want to be fed garbage our lives. We want the truth. Come on, mommy and daddy, we can take the truth. We're grown adults now. Let's put the truth out there. Like the Glimmer Man. So many people say, "Oh, you're crazy when you say you see the Glimmer Man." Well, you know what? I'm crazy. I saw the Glimmer Man. Okay, I'm crazy. I saw the Glimmer Man. Okay, but my connection to man is this. Okay, the Glimmer Man is seen around certain areas that you would question the portal, or a portal opening. Why the Glimmer Man be angels coming to this realm to check on humanity, to see our progress and to make sure everything's okay, and then report back to God?
That's
why could Glimmer Man be an angel? An angel when it comes to illuminate every color, which when you're invisible.
A spiritual manifestation. That would be what you would be seeing of a Glimmer Man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I agree with it.
Yeah, and I feel like it would come off something like the Predator. I really do. Some kind of a look along that lines with the light reflecting off of it from the sun.
I've said this before, William. I've said this before, and I've seen these things with my own eyes happen. There's a transitional part between realities, and that's when you would get something like the Glimmer Man, I believe. That transitional in between realities, that you would see these things in different forms and shapes, sometimes shadows, sometimes other things. I've seen this with my own eyes. It's some kind of a spiritual manifestation.
Right. That's the whole thing. I think from all the research that I have done lately, late at night, all through the night, trying to keep quiet and not wake people up. You know, all the research that I've done always points me back to the spiritual, to the supernatural connection.
Yeah.
Everything that I've studied, everything that I've researched, and I mean everything. I'm not just talking like portal, you know, certain cryptids with red glowing eyes. I'm talking everything from Men in Black to UFOs to cryptids to aliens. Everything seems to be connected supernaturally. Um
Well,
it's
William,
weird.
that is the very reason why I call myself a supernaturalist. I believe there is a distinct, strong supernatural connection with a lot of this stuff. I've seen that with my own research over the years. I came to that conclusion a long time ago. It's there and you can't ignore it. It's like I said before, that 500-pound gorilla in the room. Sooner or later you got to realize it's there. Yeah, and that's very true. That's why I call a lot of times people don't understand what supernaturalist is, and that's what you are, Will. You're a supernaturalist too. You're beginning to see this from the supernatural perspective. You're not, and when we say supernaturalist, we're not meaning a spiritualist. That's a different thing, like the seance guys and they doing all that stuff. A supernaturalist believes in a supernatural connection. And let me ask you one question. What could be more supernatural than God? Nothing.
Yeah.
Could be more supernatural than God.
I think Steven's trying to freak me out a little bit. Yeah, just take that comment in consideration. Did anyone else hear the robotic voice say William?
Yeah, I got a question for the audience today, okay? And I answered this earlier today to a tombstone I was messaging. Can a robot be demonically possessed? Interesting question.
That is interesting, but I would imagine it would. Well, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I'm not in a contest. What are we giving away for this contest? What are we giving away for this contest?
What you got?
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff. I got more stickers. I'll tell you what. I'll put a 6-pack of stickers and a card against anybody that can answer that question. First person to respond to that question. Okay.
We're waiting. You hear that kind of that Jeopardy thing going on in the background.
I think it's Stuart. But Stuart says possible possessed if they are self-aware. Anybody else want a question?
Yeah. I've got the answer. If you want it.
David, that's so funny. He says, "Damn it, I forgot to take notes again."
You're never gonna get an A+ for that, David. Okay, you're gonna have to do better. Okay. Can a robot be demonically possessed? Think about it.
It's a simple question. It's yes or no.
You have to answer that question. You have to answer that question with another question, okay? I don't like questions that are answered with other questions, but that's what this one does. Can a robot be demonically possessed? Does a robot have a soul? That's what you got to ask.
Steve says yes.
You think it can? Yes.
Yep.
You can't really be demonically possessed if you don't have a soul. You got to think about that a minute now. That's deep stuff. If you have a soul, you can be demonically possessed because that's possession of a soul. Actual demonic possession means the possession of a soul. And I've said this before, you are a living being. You are a soul. You're a living soul, but you have a spirit. But does a robot have a soul?
Looks like.
I don't think so. I don't think a robot man has got to the point he can make a man, but only God can make a soul. Sorry about that.
Looks like Gerald wins. Gerald wins. So I'm gonna get a sticker pack together for him, and I'm gonna put a couple special ones in there, Gerald, for you. I'm gonna put the one with the alien having a nice martini.
Oh yeah.
Sitting in his lounge chairs. Yeah. The only thing missing on that chair is the alien's not wearing slippers. Slippers. And then I'm gonna send this. I'm gonna send alien. I'm gonna send a nasty sticker for Gerald to put on the back of his vehicle. It's the hippie alien. It's the hippie alien telling the man where.
That alien is saying, stick it, and have a nice day.
But there's going to be a 6-pack of stickers to you, Gerald. All right, just let me know in Messenger what the address is, and I'll get that in the envelope out to you. And winner chicken dinner, Gerald. You're the winner of the Price is Now Right. Okay. Well, let's see. I think we'll send David a consolation prize. I think I'm going to send David a prize. I'm gonna send them something too. They gotta send me their mailing address too, because we know Melissa go out in the woods, and say that they're hunting cryptids and tracking it, that they're really out there doing that.
David, there you go, buddy.
They're out there checking their cash. They're out there checking their cash crops. And here's the thing: here's David and Melissa. Yep. Here's David and Melissa listening to their favorite. Yep. And hunting cryptids.
There you go.
That's them right there.
Yep.
So after that, I'll send out some other ones. David's favorite after work. After work, David likes to have a what? Everybody.
You have to have a big one there. Yeah.
He likes to. Yeah, she likes to have a beer. Okay, so I'm gonna send consolation prize out to David and Melissa. So
let me answer your
David,
question.
Send me your mailing address, okay?
Let me answer your question, David. If a spirit can move objects, why can they not take control? Well, we call that demonic influence over something. There's an influence, And I was reading this the other day about this guy, the last guy that killed. He shot someplace up, and they had him in court, and he actually apologized. Like a martini belly, yeah. Martini bellies are smaller. This guy was apologizing for killing all these people, and he said something very interesting, William. He said, I don't know why I did that. That is a sure sign of demonic influence, if not possession. But now influence is over an object and even an animal, whereas in possession is only a human trait because humans have souls.
Right. Yeah. Uh, Now Dave's scaring me. He says he can put the stickers on his ammo can.
Okay, all right, perfect place.
just just how much
There you
ammo
go.
do you have, David? How much ammo do you have, David?
He and Melissa remind me of that survivalist couple in Tremors. You remember those? That couple, that's them right there. Yeah, definitely. They probably got a whole basement full of all kinds of guns and ammo and all that stuff, waiting for Tremors to show up or something.
Uh, hey, can you, Dennis? Can you respond to Scott here, my buddy Scott from
Demons,
Twitch?
demons
He's a
can possess
very
animals.
good listener. So
I believe animals have souls because they are living souls. They can be possessed, but I think God kind of draws a line on that because these animals are innocent more so than people are. And in order for a person to really be possessed, you don't, and I've said this before, you don't just walk down the street. I've had people ask me this: can I be walking down the street and bam, I'm all of a sudden possessed? I said, no, it don't work that way. You're giving more power to the evil than you are to the good because it don't work that way. You have to open yourself up to possession, and animals don't usually do that. Animals don't, although they can be, they don't usually do that because it takes
that's a good question, though,
self-consciousness.
Scott. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very good question, though, Scott. Because a lot of people wouldn't think to ask that question, but or go through the animals that way. But when you think about the connection that the animals, especially dogs, have to protect their owners, and how alert they are with they can sense and see things that we can't, to almost alert mankind that there's something evil around, or questionable around. It almost makes sense that they would have a soul, just in that aspect alone. I believe
Well,
that
you
I believe that we
you
die, and I believe
you
that when
you
we
take
die, that we that our bodies in heaven, our souls in heaven, will be with our animals that we've had over the past.
oh, yeah.
I believe that every
let me say
animal that we've had will be there to greet us.
let me
So
let me say this about Scott. Let me say this: 9.9 times out of 10, an evil animal, is usually an image being used by a demon. Take the hellhound. There are no real devil dogs in that perspective. The dogs are dogs, but the demonic is using that image, to put forth what he wants to do. 9.9 times out of 10, you're not dealing with an animal, a flesh and blood animal. Although some animals it can seem to have very evil attributes, like the lions and the ghost in the darkness. That was a bad one there.
Karen, that's funny you say that. Get a flamethrower, because I've actually oh, I don't even know how to say this. I've actually thought about making one. Only one to to start piles of bush fires and stuff like that for big bonfires and all that. Only because I don't like to get close to where I'm igniting the fire.
Yeah.
But I just that's funny that she says that. I have a buddy that actually has an Abrams tank, that they didn't disengage the barrel off of. So if he actually had ammunition for it, he could actually fire that tank. That's freaking amazing how they would not seal it off somehow. Because I think they fill them with concrete, don't they? Um, and remove the firing mechanism. But it's just amazing to me, just how many people go to these army surplus auctions and stuff and buy up all this equipment. It really is. Honestly, wish I had money because I would love to buy a deuce and a half and make it into a bug out truck for my family,
That'd be
someplace
good.
safe for them. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
love those deuce and a halves. Those things
Yeah,
are
but
nice.
William, you never know what people have got. I live next door to a person, and I didn't know this, but the guy had two machine guns from a German Messerschmitt, World War II German in his attic. Okay, I didn't know this till after they were sold. I said, God, I would love to see that. Definitely, I could,
Yeah.
but you never know what people's are gonna have with them. It's strange. And I
Yeah.
did an
I know.
investigation one time. I did an investigation one time in this guy's house, William, and this man had a collection,
Mhm.
a very impressive collection of Nazi memorabilia from World War II. It was amazing what people have. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. I went and know a guy. He's a prepper, and he has the underground bunker and everything. Um, but on the way into his underground bunker, he put together some half-inch pipe for handrails on both sides. Okay, and he has these handrails going down on both sides of the steps going down into his bunker. And instead of having one door on the bunker, he had two doors on the bunker. And the first door had a small window in it with the wire mesh, so in case you break the glass, which is really really thick aquarium glass from SeaWorld, so breaking possible. But it also had the chicken wire too. And to make a long story short, he had the handrail rigged up to shoot flames from propane. What he did is he hooked up the ends of the handrails on the other side of the concrete walls and them up to propane tanks on either side. Okay. And then he drilled real fine holes in steel pipe all the way up like inches. And he had an igniter put into it, into the beginning of the pipe, where the propane would hit the beginning of the pipe, it would ignite into flames, and it would shoot out of them little holes in both directions against the persons that are standing on the steps. So yeah, it
James
was really
Bond
something.
stuff.
It was really,
James Bond.
yeah, it was. I mean, yes, it's a little extreme, but then again, you got to give the guy props on his originality. I mean, that's just incredible to even think of something like that.
Well,
So,
William, you can take
have you
three
read about
propane
the
tanks.
elements?
You can put three propane tanks together, those small camping tanks. Put three of them together and make you a darn good flamethrower. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do it the right
Yeah.
way.
Scott, I think I know exactly what Scott's talking. I know exactly what Scott's talking about here.
Yeah.
I believe that it has to do a lot of the AI programs, and this is one of the faults with them. Even though AI is continually to grow and educate itself, um, they are still base model have the influences of the creator, okay, of their creator, the person that created it. So if that person
Mm.
was ultimately had an evil streak in them, that AI is going to have an evil streak in it, um, and sarcasm and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to represent
It's
whoever
gonna.
created the program.
It becomes sort of self-aware. It becomes self-aware
Right.
in the image of its creator. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. Yeah.
I think, and that's only a theory, Scott. That's only a theory. So I mean, don't crucify me, brother. Okay, that's just a theory, man. So I'll tell you what, it's great to have Scott on here, though,
And
because he has some
it's
really
another
good
interesting
questions.
correlation to that, Scott. And another interesting correlation is the Book of Genesis. We were made in the image of God. Don't just mean that what we look like that. It means the whole thing. The whole image, not just the outward appearance, but the essence of the being. You know, it's
Right.
very interesting to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. We are
Good.
over the hour.
We're getting deep into some deep philosophical stuff here, man. I might have to get my pipe out though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's stuff. Well, it's stuff too, Dennis, that you think that a lot of people don't talk about this stuff. A lot of people really just kind of glaze over it. I would rather get
Mm-hmm.
deep into a subject and discuss it as thoroughly, as possible, and then go on to something else. So yeah, I think these are excellent questions and stuff and comments that we're bringing up from
Oh
everybody.
yeah,
It
I
does kind
love
of
it.
scare
I
me.
love
It does kind of Yeah, it does kind of scare me that Karen wants a flamethrower and has
it.
some other stuff to burn things. So it does kind of
I don't.
scare
I
me,
don't.
Karen.
I don't want to be around Karen with the flamethrower
and that's probably because she's a good aim.
Yeah, yeah. She might have a really good aim on it. I like that picture where the guy says that my girlfriend says she missed me, but then I began to work because she reloaded. So there you go.
Yeah. Did you send that
Yeah.
out? Are you the one that sent that out then, or to somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Hey.
We're having a little bit of a lag time today, as usual.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be StreamYard without it. That's very true.
iRobot, the Terminator future is coming. Yes, it is.
It's coming. It's coming. It's here. It's here, I'm afraid.
Morning, Thomas. There's my brother from North Carolina there.
Tom Carter. William, you did create another channel. Is that true? Is that correct? I subscribe to it. I resubscribe to it. So
yeah,
that's maybe what Tom's talking
yeah,
about there.
I've got it. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like playing with me. They really don't. I'm not going to get into the gist of it, but most part, they removed
Don't give anything away.
channel because I was a bully. Yeah. Well, I can say that, they accused me of being a bully, and I'm not a bully. I'm not a bully. But that's the gist of it. I'm not going to get into.
We're still trying to figure out who we were supposed to be bullying. I don't know who couldn't take that bullying thing or something. I don't know what's going on with that. Somebody has a very thin skin out there or something.
Yeah, that's true, Karen. It's true.
Yeah, that's coming.
Very true.
That's
the
true.
AI with the
Very
mark of the
Karen.
beast.
Yeah, that's going to be part of it, an integral part of it, definitely.
Yes, it did.
I'll let
Thomas.
you answer that.
Took down.
That's very true. They don't want the truth out there, but we're truth warriors. We're gonna make sure it goes out.
Tombstone, all the way from Australia. Good day to you, mate. Good day to you.
Thunder from down under.
Let's see here.
Yeah, that's very
Thomas,
true.
I'm. Yeah, they are, but I'm also a bully. I'm a disabled bully, that is terminally ill. So, how much more of a bully can you be?
That kind of reminds me of what that old guy said. I always wanted to grow up to be a mean old man.
Yeah,
there you
Scott's go. Right. Bullying evil. Bullying evil.
Bullying
Scott,
evil. That's what we're doing.
Right, brother.
Yeah. Evil can't take it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Evil can't take
Absolutely,
it.
Man.
We're gonna give it to them anyway.
Yep. But I've got a new channel here, YouTube. I've got to keep it down a little. It's
the rhetoric down.
The only time I'm going to stream. Yeah. The only time I'm going to stream questionable content, which is like me going on the secret cabal and all that, and the shadow government and Men in Black and all that. I'm not going to stream it on YouTube. I'm going to stream it on forums that I'll reach, because I don't need to be banned again from YouTube. So that just means that everybody's going to have to get a Rumble account. So
yeah, I like Rumble. Rumble's good. It's very open. I like it.
The only thing is, I haven't figured out how to stream from StreamYard to Rumble. I connect it, and every time I connect Rumble, it says the connection's not made, so I have to disconnect it. And I've tried like the last 6-7 times with lives that we've had to get the connection, and I can't get it to work. So I don't know if I have to have a separate camera, have like my phone set up for Rumble and have it sitting here, and have Rumble that way. I'm not sure. So
that's interesting. Maybe someone out there knows the answer to that.
Yeah, if anybody out there has a Rumble account, please, let me know, because I'm having a hard time getting that connection.
I'm not real. I'm very new to Rumble. I don't know too much about it.
Come on, Donald Trump, if you're out there, let me know.
Or Donald Jr., maybe give us a hint on how to do that.
Don Jr., yeah. Heck, at this point in time, I'd take anybody. What's the son's name?
Oh yeah, the other one.
Yeah, the youngest one. It is explained to me is that they believe in concept, and now the whole nation is the emergence of AI in order to make it. Yeah, true. Yeah, well, and that's intent. The New World Order, whatever you want to call them, the shadow government, reptilians, the whatever you want to call them, the demonic. That is their true purpose, is to enslave mankind. And if you think about it, we are probably already enslaved to a point, because remember the other day, I can't really talk about that. I can't talk about it. It's going to be another podcast, Karen. I'm sorry. I don't need to be shut down. So, yes, thank you.
Just remember this very interesting thing. A very interesting thing was said about the Antichrist. He will say, peace, 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 but then there will come certain destruction. He's not who he appears to be. He's going to mislead everybody for one reason only. He's going to declare himself to be God. And he wants to be worshipped as a God. And that's the very thing that Satan has always wanted. He wants to be God. If you go back to the Word of God, he says, I will be like the Most High. I will sit on the sides of the congregation of the north. And what that meant, he says, I will take your people away from you. I will take your throne, and you, God, will be my footstool. This is the attribute. He wants to be God. He will do anything to get there. And he will enslave mankind because he's all about slavery, not freedom. That's what it all comes down to.
Right. Right. Yep. Yeah.
That's your sermon.
I'm just.
That's your sermon for today. That's your sermon for today.
Man, I can't believe how fast I'm drinking coffee. Anyways, getting back to the Glimmer Man. Okay, getting back to the Glimmer Man. You know, how he's always seen around portals. One thing I want to make very clear to everybody is also another way that angels are going to communicate with us, or a loved one is going to communicate with us, is going to be through this. It's going to be gifted stuff. Feathers are a way of showing people there is a heaven, okay, that there is a place for our souls to go once we leave this body. Feathers are meant to be given to us and gifted to us to signify the attributes of the bird that it's fallen from, and gifted to us from. Like, this is the hawk right here.
It's a very strong spiritual connection. There's a very strong spiritual connection with birds. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, if anybody ever sees a feather on the ground, before you pick it up, say thank you. You know, what I normally do is I'll lay a pinch of tobacco on the ground, or I'll gift something else to say thank you. But definitely you at least want to say thank you, okay, when you're gifted a feather. So, being said, I make that very clear that there are signs and symbols that the spirit world is to be and gift us. Okay. Like there was a report of in a sheriff's office of somebody being arrested, was sitting in the holding area, and in the cell, but in the holding into the bench. And all of a sudden from the ceiling, all these pennies started dropping out of the air, out of nowhere, all over the floor. And, you know, I honestly would have no idea what that would mean. The only thing that comes to mind is a penny for your thoughts. Yeah. Pennies from heaven.
From heaven.
Yep. And
I've had several cases, William. Let me tell you this right quick. I've had several cases dealing with mysterious appearance of coins. They symbolize something, and I think it's another interesting connection about the coins that people leave in cemeteries. Have you ever noticed that?
Yep. Good morning, Brandy.
On the graves of veterans, they will leave certain amounts of coins.
Yep. Yeah, that is true. That is very, very true. It's almost, and here's another correlation that I'm making. and this may be completely off the rails, but you know we'll go off the rails anyways. The gifting spiritually to us of feathers and of anything basically, and sending bugs to land on somebody's hand, or ladybugs, or a hummingbird is seen, or a certain bird is seen flying in the sky. These are messages that the spirit world is sending us specifically to somebody that is nearby. Okay, hoping that we see it. Um, why can't we make the correlation of the same thing happening with, like you just said, with the connection to the cryptids? Okay, because cryptids gift. Why couldn't Bigfoot be on a different spiritual plane than we are? It would make sense to a point, that he would be on a higher spiritual plane than man. First off, his brain capacity, his larger than ours. So that in itself would mean that he'd have more ability. And I'm not saying abilities, because I talk about special abilities, because some of the people out there, some of the researchers, special abilities, he cloak and da 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 da. Well, you know what? Get your head out of the sand and face reality, because you're old school, and old school is way, way off center. You need to think outside the box. So,
Well, let's look at the wolf a minute,
researchers
William.
out there.
Look at the wolf. He is on a different level than the elk. If you look at it that way, the different perspectives, and the things that we're talking about, the cryptids, they would have to definitely be operating on a different level, intellectually and maybe physically, and even spiritually, than other animals around them. You couldn't compare Bigfoot per se with a fox. They're two different things. They're on different levels here. Just like men, human beings, are on different levels from cryptids. You've got different levels of existence here.
Scott, yeah. Scott is exactly right here. In fact, this is where that feather came from. It came from a sighting just outside the window, and it was on the ground of our place. And
William, I have found
apparently he was peeking in the window.
I have found feathers in the woods sticking in the ground in a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Ever noticed that? Have you ever seen that? I have.
Yep.
Almost like it, and I have found places. Now, I'm not going to say this offhanded. This is weird, but I have actually found places in the forest that seemed like they were altars. And I'm not talking about manipulated by humans here. They were almost like altars set up. I just have to wonder, Bigfoot might have done that.
Well,
or something else has done that.
They're called.
Well, little people.
Well, they might. You might be thinking of the gifters, because a lot of traditional natives, like when we made too much to eat, families, at the end of the day, we will use a bucket or a paper plate or something, and we'd walk to the edge of our property, and we would gift the leftovers to the spirits. Okay, it's often called a spirit plate. Okay, it's a form of showing how Native Americans don't believe in gluttony. Okay, and respect and try to encourage interaction with all things. But anyways,
And
Usually, typically,
way up,
we would take it to
and
the edge of the property and leave it. And usually by the next day, the spirit plate is empty. So something takes it.
European cultures do the same thing. They leave a little portion out for the elves or the fairies, the fae people.
Yeah.
Or look at Christmas time. You left a little portion outside of hay for the reindeer, Santa's reindeer. Or you leave milk and cookies for Santa. It's like a presentation, you know. It's like a connection, a rapport that you're establishing with these spiritual beings. You're like saying, "Here's your portion, and I recognize you." You know, uh, and that's really good. Who doesn't? Who would want to be invited to a dinner where everybody ignores you?
Yeah.
That would not be nice. So you don't ignore
Yeah.
what's going on around you, and our ancestors knew that.
Right. Right. Thomas, to answer your question, the crow is a very, very unique bird. Excuse me. The crow is a very unique bird because the crow, along with the eagle and the other raptors, bird raptors, and the turkey vultures, are the
And
only
the raven.
species of the birds to go to the other side, and come back. It has often been said that that they are the messengers. If you see a crow feather that's gifted to you, it means that the ancestors have something very important to tell you, and that they're telling you to be weary of certain things. Whether it's a legal problem, whether it's a physical ailment coming up, whether it's a spiritual problem, financial problem, it's a warning that something is coming up. Okay. And to be aware that it might happen. Um, if I am gifted a crow feather, I would ask the spirits, what kind of situation do I have that you're trying coming up in the future that I have that you're trying to me. And usually they will come to you in a dream and try to convey it through that manner. Okay. Um, or they will gift you something else. Like if it's a financial problem, you'll see a quarter on the ground. If it's a spiritual problem, you'll see a white feather. Okay. If it is a medical problem, you will find something related to the medical field on the ground. And no, I'm not saying a dirty needle. Okay. I'm just saying you'll find something related to the medical field on the ground, whether it's
You get a
an
sign.
information flyer, just some kind of sign.
Yeah, you get a
So
sign.
each and everything, gifts from heaven and the spirit world don't need to be solely feathers. They can be gifts of any nature, um, depending on the strength of the spirit that's trying to let you know what's going to happen. Um, you know, Sometimes if they think you need to know something's coming in the mail, you'll find a stamp on the ground. I mean, it's just you have to relate it to what you're being told. Okay. It's not hard to do. At first, it's hard to do to try and figure out what are they trying. And then when you really sit down and think about it, it's like, well, damn, why didn't I think about that before? You know, they gifted me a white feather, so that's going to be a spiritual attack. Or, I found that dollar bill on the ground. Maybe it's going to be a financial problem or a financial gain. Um,
I would love to find a
but something
lottery ticket on
financial.
the ground,
So,
Will. I would love to find a winning lottery ticket on
yeah,
the ground. That would be. I mean, really, things like that happen
yeah,
sometimes. Seriously. And I've often told people that many times. Maybe some things that you see like that are a sign. You should pay attention to it. That somebody's trying to tell you something, and that's what you're basically saying there. Somebody's trying to tell you something. You might
right,
want to heed it.
right. Right. Well, yeah, that is your. I heard Redbirds, Cardinals, our loved ones
Red
coming
birds,
back to
yeah.
say hi. Yes,
Mhm.
that is true. That is
Yeah.
very true.
I'm gonna tell
Sometimes
you
they will
something,
send.
Clay. I'll tell you something.
Some
I've had a
loved
lot of
ones will send butterflies
uh,
too, or
yeah,
ladybugs.
butterflies. Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. I've had a lot of people tell me they've had interaction with butterflies. I my own self have had strange interactions with owls and hawks. I've had
Hmm.
hawks meet up with me many places where I go. It's very strange. I had one time, and I never had this before or since happen. He lit on a limb. I mean, he was close enough that I could have hit him with a rock if I'd wanted to. He lit on a limb, landed on a limb, and started hollering. I mean, I never heard a hawk do that. I mean, I've heard them on recordings and seen them on, nature shows, but actually right in front of me do that. And I mean, he let out a cry at least 5 or 6 times. It's almost as if he was trying to communicate with me. It's very strange.
Hmm.
Um, it's
Yeah.
a strange interaction we have with these things sometimes.
When a hawk cries, especially a red-tailed hawk, it's a warning. It's a warning of if you get any closer, I'm going to mess you up. um, it's a warning and a call for other hawks in the area to know that they should not infringe upon that hawk's territory. Um,
Oh yeah.
there's so many doings. So it could have been a warning to you, or it could be a sign that he was saying, you know what, you didn't fill up your bird feeder, so I can't eat. You know, so I mean, it just depends.
It depends, but it was very odd. I've never had anything like that happen before or since, and but I'm glad to see the Hawks returning. Once upon a time, years back, a lot of them died out. They were scarce, and now we see a lot more of them. Found
Yeah,
feathers from
yeah.
birds that aren't native to our region. Yeah. Well, birds get around too. Birds can get around too. They migrate more than people think they do. Uh,
Yeah.
I've always been interested in birds. Birds are very interesting animals. And they used to talk
Good
about
day, Tombstone.
crows and ravens. Did you know? And I didn't know this till here recently. Crows hang out with wolves. They actually seem to have a
Mhm.
rapport with each other. That's very
Yeah.
strange.
Well, that's because crows are too, though. They will pick up upon the scraps of wolves and coyotes. That's why they hover around them, get the remains of whatever they've killed, so they can have a
Mm-hmm.
meal. Crows
I mean,
crows are very,
they
very
cooperate.
yeah, yeah. Crows are they are a very, very intelligent bird. They are
Very
very
smart.
intelligent. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that they do that.
They
Because
have seen. They have
welcome to
actually.
welcome to the
They, they've actually seen
welcome to
crows
Nighthawk.
take.
Yeah, yeah,
They take
yeah.
crows
Welcome to
would take
Nighthawk's
and
Wild
drop.
Kingdom.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, welcome to
We
Nighthawk's
got
Wild Kingdom. Welcome to Nighthawk's Wild Kingdom. So
there you go. Mutual
yeah.
Omaha's my hawk wild kingdom. Anyway, they have actually seen crows drop shell fish, on the road and break them open so they could eat them. They're smart. That's like a tool almost, and they have seen them use tools. They've seen them take branches and get bugs out of holes and stuff. It's very smart animals. A murder of crows. Yeah, that's a lot.
His favorite line. That's your favorite. One of your favorite lines or things to say is a murder of crows. So
Murder of crows.
like that creepy
What do you
picture
call?
that you had every that
Let me ask you, Gerald. What do you call a big flock of owls? Are you ready for the answer?
I don't see any response. He's probably thinking, he's probably Googling it.
I'm gonna beat him to it. No, it's not wise. No,
Oh.
it's not wise. It's called a court of owls. A court of owls. They look like a bunch of old wise judges, I guess.
Now, Thomas, the gift of sunglasses means your future bright. You got to wear shades.
That would have been another good contest question there, William.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we answered it.
Did we use that one up? Well, that's what you hear. Everybody out there listening, everybody out there watching, just remember you can learn a lot of stuff from us now. You pick it up on some stuff, some free stuff here. We're giving out some free knowledge.
Free. What's that commercial? Free.
No strings attached.
Free. Oh, you know what?
Buy one, get one free.
I have. We've all had our series of problems and stuff lately, especially now more than ever. Feeling that sometime during my hiatus, it almost felt like a shift again in the timelines or the dimensions or something. It's really weird, and I've been seeing. Okay, and trust me, this is not because of medication that I'm on. Okay, because nothing I'm on any type of hard drugs or anything. So, but I've been seeing a lot of like almost. Everybody knows me. Okay, I see things. Okay, I I can see to the spirit world. I can walk to the spirit world. I did that with Calvin. I walked and saw him and to my wife's grandmother, and was told that he would be there, and protected and taken care of. But you know, I've been seeing a lot of like. Okay, well, just for instance, like this morning. No, just this morning, I was sitting on with Jacob was just waking up, and I was waiting for the microwave to stop heating up the water, and I looked at my leg, and I saw a spider or a bug run up my leg and disappear. Okay, I've seen a lot of little people lately. I've seen a lot of shape and movement and stuff. Things that move so fast I can't really make out what it is. But it was black. And that's the other thing. Everything that I'm seeing is black. Okay, so it's not apparently in this timeline. It's in another dimension or another timeline. And then I started thinking about it. Well, it would make sense to me the way I am because of my physical problems that I'm seeing other timelines too. Like I'm seeing that exact spot and that exact point of time, but only like 150 years earlier. Like say there was a tree stump where I was sitting, and my leg portrayed the tree stump and the spider crawled up the tree stump.
Right.
That kind of a thing.
A different existence. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So all these things now,
You may be. Well, that sounds, William, like
Yeah.
you're at the intersections. You're seeing the crossover there. That's what that sounds like. You're seeing some crossover activity between timelines and realities.
Right. Right. It's almost getting annoying because it's happening. I just, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I'm the 200 years ago that moved. You know, it's and that's exactly what I'm trying to in here.
That's a good point, Randy. It's a possibility that something, is manifesting in that manner for a reason. William, you're freezing up very badly, William. We can't understand what you're saying. You're freezing. You're frozen, actually.
Maybe we should stop at this point and reconvene at a later date. Yeah, it's
bad interference. Yeah.
Future to correct the future. I don't think there's anything out there that can correct our future. I think our future has been already set. The fate is already set. Do we have the ability to change the timeline in any way, shape, or form? Well, yes, we all do. By doing the opposite of what we would normally do, would automatically change the timeline. Instead of acting angry out of harshness, give somebody a hug, and say, I'm sorry, instead of chopping down that tree, try planting a tree, that may change the timeline.
William, it's very much like stepping in a stream. You step in the stream, you divert that stream a little bit around you. That's what these timelines are like. You can sort of, just by your influence, by being there and doing something differently, like you say, changes the course of that stream a little bit.
Yep. Scott, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. That means a lot to me. My brother from Twitch, he's an awesome guy. Scott, if you need anything, feel free to contact us. I'm going to put my email out there. Okay. I'll even post it in the chat on Twitch after we're done today, so you can go back and look at it. So you can get a hold of me. But I think you already have it. I'm not sure. It's lakotaman333 at gmail.com. Okay. That's lakotaman333 at gmail.com. Okay. And it's all lowercase. Okay. So, Tombstone, we love you too, brother. Give the wife a hug from me. Let me know when the package gets there. I'm really, really excited about you having that package and getting that package on time. And those of you that know, that watched D.A. Roberts last night on his podcast, God bless him. DA is such a patient man with, he knows that, we have been like the closest of for and longest time here lately, and we communicate all the time. And a lot of times it's like 3 o'clock in the morning when we communicate because he's up writing his book. Um, and I keep on bugging him. About this? Did you measure your hat? Because he wanted me to make him a hat band, and you know, I had a medicine bag I was saving for him to send to him when the hat band was finished. Well, the hat band took like 3 months to do, maybe even 4 or 5. I don't even know. I lost track. Um, but I got it done and I sent it to him, and he wore it last night on his hat on his podcast, and it looked really good on his hat. I got to say, it looked really good on his hat. Okay, um, it took a long time coming, but you know what? It was well worth it. Um, it was very well worth it. Um, so it was just nice to see him wearing it. He had his medicine bag with him. Inside the medicine bag, um, I put amethyst, turquoise. I put shungite, and I put sage and cedar in the bag, and gave it to him. And did my blessing on the bag. And then when he got it, I told him, go ahead and smudge it and say a prayer over it, and that way it's your bag. Um, but he loved it. He was showing it off last night on his show, and you know, I know some people out there think that's not a big deal, but to me it is, because in order for me to finish something, it takes a lot of effort. Okay, I get very very winded. Let's just put it that way. So, um, oh, look at this! Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen, very much.
There you go. Appreciate that.
And and but anyways, it was really nice to see somebody, take what I had and appreciate it, for what it is, and the
Yeah.
time that it takes. And I was teasing him. I was teasing him too, because I told him, I said, your hat band did a blood sacrifice ritual with me, because I stabbed my finger probably several dozen times. So, but
Had
it
a
got
blood,
done.
sweat, and tears with it. Huh? Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Gerald, thank you, brother. I
Gerald?
appreciate everything you all do and say. Um, that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate. Um, Brandy said a purple bag for sure. Yes,
That's
I
right,
don't know if
Brandy.
you all saw the bag, but it had the hieroglyph of a dog man on it, and it was really, really. It was like coming out of the bag, it basically, Adam, almost like a 3D. But it was really, really something. And I do what I can. Money is very, very tight with me. So I try to do what I can with like that. But it's just something that I enjoy doing, and I'll enjoy it until, yeah, protective hat band. You're right, Karen, with the blood. Yeah, with the blood on it. Yeah, you're right. Uh, oh, oh, good morning, Katie. Um, you'll have to watch the program back through, replay it or something, my friend, because we're getting ready to sign off on here. Um, but I appreciate everybody being here. Um, I think it was a good show. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna rest for a while, and I will see you all Friday night for Becoming Monsters. Um, I just want everybody to know that if something does happen to me, don't ever think that it's something that could have been prevented. because what happens is the way it's supposed to happen. Uh, Even now, my brain is becoming fogged. Um, that's just what happens, and I've learned to accept it. I've learned to deal with it, to make myself more comfortable. Um, just know that if something does happen to where I'm on the other side, just know that I'm watching out for everybody, and I will be watching out for everybody. Um, I won't be. I won't be the. Sometimes I'll be like the guardian angel of to smack you in the back of the head and tell you, you know what, you don't want to do that.
I
So
need that, William. I need that. Okay.
So, but just know that I've lived a good life. Um, I've lived the remainder of my life with the love of my life, my wife Tracy. Um, and yes, I probably don't say that enough. Um, I love all my family, all my extended family. You, Dennis, and Thomas and Gerald and Chris and Tombstone and just everybody, Stuart, Karen, Melissa, just everybody's been phenomenal. Stephen, um, everybody's been phenomenal. Um, it's just, I just want you all to know how much I appreciate it. Okay. And never, ever forget that. All right. Um, I need David to send me his mailing address. Either that or David, actually, David, I'm going to be coming down to your neck of the woods. My wife and I are going to be down there tomorrow. If you want, you could meet me or text me in the morning because it's going to be about 8 o'clock in the morning when we're down that way. Because I'm going to leave here about 7 a.m. Because my wife has a medical appointment down there in that area. I don't like to give people's geographical areas out on the internet. You know what I mean? Where they live. You know, like every David lives in Virginia, but I don't want to give the exact town. You know what I'm saying? So said, even though he has several hundred ammo boxes and several hundred weapons, so I know he's safe. um, I'm just one like that. But anyways, let me know, David, if you have any free time tomorrow morning, and that way I can get that stuff to you before my medical appointment. I got to come all the way back here at 2 o'clock for my medical appointment, so it's like one end of the state to the other, basically. So, but anyways, not that many. Yeah. Oh, he works until 1 tomorrow. All right. Well, all right. Then I'll just send me your mailing address. I guess I can't get that free cup of coffee out
USPS.
of him. Yeah,
Yes, we
I guess I
go
can't get
sometime.
that free cup of coffee. Yeah, that would really a free cup of coffee though. Um, you know. So thanks, David, for working. I appreciate you working, man. Thanks a lot. Like you couldn't take a day off. I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay. All right. He says not that many ammo boxes. Yep. Yep.
That's true. Close, but not
Yeah,
not that
Virginia
big.
is a big state though. Yeah. Yeah, Virginia is a pretty big state, you know. In
I've been
fact, it
across
probably
it.
at
I
one
know.
time was, yeah, it was probably at one time bigger than Texas, I would imagine, because before
Yeah,
they annexed West
yeah,
Virginia, you know,
yeah,
West
yeah,
Virginia wasn't always
yeah.
there. It was Virginia. So,
The Commonwealth of Virginia.
yep. Thank you, Katie. It's gonna be a good one. So, you know, thank you very much. That means a lot to me. That really means a lot to me, Katie. That means a lot. No idea. Um, I appreciate all the prayers and wishes from every. Um, and you know, it helps. It does. So, that being said, that being said, one of the things that we sent down to DA was something that wasn't normally uh, going to be done, and that was a set of earrings that Tracy made out of wood, the Bigfoot earrings that Tracy does out of wood to DA's wife Annette. And this is just one of the necklace, the Bigfoot necklace, the detail in the face. I mean, just imagine that staring at you through a window, you know. So, but yeah, she does excellent work. So we sent that a pair of earrings to DA's wife too, and apparently she loves them, so that's good. But anyways, that being said, I want to say goodbye to everybody, and I will see you at 10 p.m. Okay, I might do a quick short live periodically throughout, like a 5 or 10 minute live, just to see if everything still works. So, but I will all Friday night at 10 o'clock in Eastern on Becoming Monsters, and I believe we are going to talk. Um, we are going to talk about the rake. Okay. And the reason I want to talk about the rake is there's been a lot of questions and curiosity that some of the people have had concerning the rake, and there's been a lot of things that might be misconstrued as the rake. Um, because we have the rake, we have the cave creatures, we have the S word that I don't want to really say, that can look like
Pale
that because
crawlers. They got the
yeah, you
pale
got pale
crawlers.
crawlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a good subject. And it'll always, all our subjects always lead into something else. So, but it'll be a good one. Okay. So, if you can, I will say go to Tom Cardos's North Carolina Cryptids and subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Go to Brandy's and Kristen's Blondes and
Blonde.
Booze and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel there. They are awesome people. Bigfoot Michigan Rob has several pods on YouTube if you want to subscribe to him. He's a good friend. D.A. Roberts, another brother from another mother. Go to X Machina, D.A. Roberts X Machina, and subscribe to that channel. Support, the more support we have for one another, the better it is for us, because we have somebody to fall back on. And some of us can answer questions that others can't. So, that being said, go to also War Woman's Goods and support Jessica Jones, the Cryptid
The cryptid
Huntress.
huntress.
Yep, she's on
Spaced out radio.
spaced out radio. See, I spaced out there. I spaced out there myself just now. I couldn't think of the name of it, but
Yeah.
anyways, there's so many of them out there, and if I missed y'all, I apologize. You know, there's so many great family out there that have their own podcasts, and I just think we need to support everybody. Do what we can to be a big family, because when it comes down to it, we're all we have. We like talking about the weird stuff. I mean, that's just what it is. We like talk weird stuff. We like investigating the weird stuff, and we look out for one another. That's why we're called the Weirdo Warriors. So on that note, I want to say, good day to everybody. Have a pleasant Sunday. Enjoy it. And we will see
Keep
you all
watching
later.
the skies.
Okay? Thank you.